I am Fan Li. To the world, I am the founding father of commerce, but in my eyes, wealth is merely the shadow of power. If you do not know how to handle power, no matter how much money you make, you are simply fattening yourself up for someone else's slaughter. 2,500 years ago, I stood by King Gujian through 20 years of humiliation. I watched him transform from a prisoner into a vengeful conqueror. But on the day of our ultimate victory, as the nation cheered, I saw something chilling in his eyes, the founder's paranoia. When the enemy is gone, the purge begins. I chose to leave before the victory feast even started. I traded my prime minister's seal for a commoner's robe. This wasn't a retreat. It was an exit strategy at the peak of the asset's value. Look at modern business. Bill Gates pivoted to philanthropy at the height of Microsoft's dominance. Andy Grove of Intel famously said, "Only the paranoid survive," and prepared his succession while the company was still untouchable. They understood that the end of a project isn't when it fails, but when it is at its most brilliant and most dangerous. The Enlightenment. Many entrepreneurs fail because they fall in love with their companies. They forget they are just operators. True freedom is having the capital to walk away whenever you choose. I moved to the lands of Tao and began practicing the second algorithm of wealth, intertemporal arbitrage. I said, in drought, buy boats, in floods, buy wagons. This isn't just buying low and selling high. This is managing future demand. During a massive drought, farmers sell their boats for almost nothing just to survive. Most people see the immediate crisis. I see the rainy season 3 years away. I locked in core resources at a fraction of their future cost. Today, you call this a forward contract. Years ago, Netflix was a DVD by mail company. At their peak, Reed Hastings invested billions into streaming, a technology no one believed in yet. He was fixing the roof while the sun was shining. He anticipated the cycle of internet speed, the Enlightenment. Money isn't made in the present. It's earned the moment you see the cycle before anyone else. The amateur watches the trend, the master watches the cycle. Most merchants think the higher the profit, the better. They are wrong. High profits attract enemies. I advocated for a 10% margin. I pushed my margin so low that my competitors couldn't survive. They didn't have my efficiency. If they followed me, they went bankrupt. If they didn't, I seized the entire market share. Costco never lets its margin exceed 14%. This isn't out of kindness. It is their most brutal moat. It makes competitors despair. Amazon spent years without profit, reinvesting every cent into infrastructure. This is accelerating velocity, the Enlightenment. The scale of your wealth is determined by your capital turnover. If you turn your capital 10 times a year at 1% profit, you outperform the man who turns it once a year at 5%. Speed is the ultimate weapon. In the lands of Tao, I built a vast information network. I knew where grain was abundant and where silk was scarce, but I also knew that information is fleeting while trust is permanent. Once my capital chain broke, I took out high-interest loans just to pay my suppliers on time. That turned my personal credit into a currency harder than gold. Later, I could buy entire fleets of cargo with just a signature. This is credit leverage. I used other people's money to build my empire. Why do failing companies beg Warren Buffett to invest? Because his presence alone restores market confidence. His name is a form of risk insurance. The Enlightenment. The essence of business is exchange, and the foundation of exchange is trust. If you can build integrity in a world of deception, You possess a monopolistic competitive advantage. 3 times I became the richest man in the world, and 3 times I gave it all away. This was my tango between power and wealth. Wealth, when accumulated to a certain point, creates gravity. It attracts envy, legal trouble, and hostility. By giving it away, I neutralized that negative energy and converted cash into public safety and goodwill. Top billionaires don't just do philanthropy for tax breaks. They do it for survival space. Giving wealth away delabels it. The Enlightenment, a truly powerful person is not afraid to lose wealth because he has mastered the source of wealth. If you can make it once, you can make it 100 times. Philanthropy is buying back your social security. Finally, a word for those in the modern corporate world. High fame brings slander, deep profit brings disaster. My comrade Wen Zhong was too obsessed with his hero of the state title, and it cost him his life. When I did business, I always shared the largest profits with local merchants and gave the credit to local officials. I kept the profit, they kept the fame. We became a community of interests. Why is Goldman Sachs so resilient? Because it shares its profits with its core talent, making everyone feel like they are working for themselves. The Enlightenment: don't take all the money off the table, leave some for others, and they will be the ones taking the bullets for you. 20 minutes have passed so quickly. After listening to the story of my life, have you realized that from beginning to end, I was only ever doing one thing? I was exchanging. I exchanged 20 years of my youth for the miracle of a kingdom's rebirth. I exchanged the absolute power of a prime minister for the absolute freedom of a silent. Most people spend their entire lives chasing ownership, but a true master of commerce chases balance. The highest realm of business is not harvesting, it is positioning. Life is the same. By listening to these words today, you have already planted the seed of the merchant's age within your soul. Once you learn to read the cycles, understand human nature, and know when to advance or retreat, nothing in this world can ever imprison you again. I am Fan Li. From the shores of the 5 lakes 2,500 years ago, I wish you the strength to find your own small boat to freedom in this modern sea of commerce. If our conversation today has sparked even a small light in your heart or a new perspective for your career, I ask you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. We create these stories to bring ancient wisdom to those who are fighting their own battles today. Your support is the fuel that keeps this bridge of wisdom standing. I also want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the 3 scatterings or contrarian investing? Leave a comment below. I personally read your reflections. In our next episode, we will bring you another legendary figure who mastered the game of life. I will see you at the summit.